Hello and welcome to News Now. I am Margaret Opara. The federal government has ordered the immediate closure of one of its colleges, the Federal Government College KWALI, located in KWALI area, Council of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Ben Gong, who is the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Education, announced this in a statement on Monday in the nation's capital. The Minister of Education, Adamu, gave the directive in the early hours of July 25 in a bid to prevent any attack on the school. He said the closure became necessary following the security breach on Sheda and Lambata villages in the suburbs of KWALI Area Council. While Adamu said the timely intervention of security operatives saved the situation, he directed the authorities of the school to make arrangements for final year students to conclude their National Examination Council NECO examinations. The minister also directed principals of unity colleges across the country to communicate with security agencies within their jurisdictions in a bid to forestall any security breach in the government schools. Now, barely 24 hours after a new video went viral, the relatives of the victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack have renewed the call for the return of their loved ones. Although some of the train passengers have been released after ransoms were reportedly paid, dozens of victims are said to be left in the custody of the bandits. On Sunday, the terrorists released a new video in which they were seen manhandling some of the victims and flogging them with sticks as they cried and pleaded for help. One of the kidnapped passengers was seen recounting how they were abducted, saying the government had failed to secure their release. He pleaded with members of the international community, including the United Nations, the United Kingdom, the United States, and France, among others, to help secure their release. Disturbed by the video, the families of the victims picketed the headquarters of the Ministry of Transportation in Abuja on Monday. Armed with placards with various inscriptions, they asked the federal government to take steps to secure the release of their loved ones who were abducted by the terrorists. Some of the inscriptions read, quote, "Our blood pressure keeps on rising every day. We hardly sleep with our two eyes closed. And relatives of kidnapped victims are pleading with Mr. President for urgent help." End of quote. Now, the Presidency has urged the media to increase its support for the fight against exploitation of the internet and social media for terrorist purposes to address security challenges in the country. Malam Garba Shehu, the President's spokesman, made the call in a statement on Sunday in Abuja. To help the nation against an ongoing situation, the media must increase their support for the fight against exploitation of the internet and social media for terrorists, end of quote, he said. Shehu said the call had become imperative because terrorist groups had resorted into youth propaganda to create more tension in the country. According to him, terrorist activity using propaganda and the use of violence to force governments to accept or submit to political demands is not new all over the world. He, however, said the country's security and defense forces are not clueless or helpless. They have their plans, that ways of doing things that they will not display in the media. According to him, terrorism is a global scourge that must be fought by all actors: the military, the civilian population, and the communication service provider. And away from that, the Seye of Insane, Oba Dr. Abdulgani Salawuddin Adekunle OLOOGUNEBI AJINESE 1 is dead. Until his death, the late monarch was the 28th ASEYIN of Nigerian and reigned for 15 years on the throne. The family source disclosed that the monarch died on Sunday morning at the University College Hospital, where he has been for months. Prince Femi Olalere's secretary, ASEYIN royal family, in a statement said Oba Adekunle, whose demise came after spending 62 years on earth and 15 years on the throne, will be buried on Monday, 25th July 2022. In a bid to broker a truce in major issues affecting the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology LAUTECH, Ogbomoso, Governor of Oyo State Engineer Seyi Makinde has met with critical stakeholders of the institution. The meeting, which took place at the Presidential Lodge of the Government House at Agodi, Ibadan, was attended by representatives of the alumni body, the LAUTECH Governing Council, the Ogumosho community, as well as officials of the State Ministry of Education. Key issues including the involvement of the university's chapter of the Academic Staff Union of Universities in the ongoing national strike action, the multi-campus status of the institution, as well as the proposed renaming of the institution, were discussed.
Yeah, in the next couple of weeks, the issue of strike within the LAUTECH over, and other issues related to renaming of LAUTECH and GOVT. No, there's no breakdown at all. It's a very fruitful one. As you know, MAKINDE loved LAUTECH so much, and he has invested so much in LAUTECH. We came to him just as a permanent stakeholder in LAUTECH to address some issues, and all of our discussion, they are positive.
The Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, again reinstated unequivocally that the recruitment process of the Nigerian police force was merit-based and not favoritism of any kind. This was contained in a statement issued by the Force Public Relations Officer TSP Olumoyiwa Adejobi on Sunday in Abuja. He said the recruitment process comprises a physical screening of all applicants who express interest in serving with the force by filling the application form online without any charge attached. He said applicants who met the legal requirement for the physical screening were subjected to computer-based tests set and organized by the West African Examination Council. Baba said after the CBT, successful applicants were also subjected to medical screening to confirm their fitness to take up the policing duty. The IG said the police recruitment process was not for sale, nor can it be influenced by any individual for selfish reasons. He pledged to continually intensify efforts in upholding the sanctity and standards of modern policing in the country. And more stories, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has said the speedy passage of the National Electoral Offences Commission and Tribunal Bill by the National Assembly would checkmate vote buying. The bill meant to provide the legal framework for the investigation and prosecution of electoral offences for the general improvement of the electoral process in Nigeria on June 30 passed the second reading in the House of Representatives. The Senate had in July 2021 passed a similar bill which had 7 parts and 48 sections and sought to take the burden of prosecuting electoral offenders off INEC. INEC President Electoral Commissioner in Lagos State Olusegun Agbaje on Sunday said if passed into law, the bill would ensure speedy trial of electoral offenders. Agbaje, however, said the battle against vote buying in whatever shapes or forms must be fought to a standstill by all stakeholders in Nigeria. He also decried the delay in prosecuting electoral offences in Nigeria, describing it as frustrating. Take a commercial break right now. African News after the break.